Hello, this is Breakfast with Susanna Reid and Bill Turnbull.
Greek voters narrowly back the bailout and elect the New Democracy Party to keep the country in the Eurozone.
Intense negotiations are now underway to form a coalition government ahead of new austerity measures later this month.
Good morning, it's Monday the 18th of June.
So what does the Greek result mean for us and the rest of Europe? We'll be finding out.
I'm having breakfast with some of the Greek community that live here in the UK as we digest yesterday's vote.
Good morning. In a few moments, I'll be looking at how the financial markets here have reacted now that austerity in Greece looks set to continue.
As England prepare for their final Euro 2012 group game, star striker Wayne Rooney says now his suspension's over, he's determined to help his team make the knockout stages.
The comedian Tony Hawks is going to be here telling us why all the profits from his film Playing the Moldovans at Tennis will go to charity.
And from pop to Broadway to TV shows, Marty Pello's turned his hand to many things. His latest role, perhaps the most impressive, he's playing the voice of humanity. No pressure then, he'll be joining us later to explain more.
Harry Potter, EastEnders, Land of Hope and Glory. What would be your ideas for the soundtrack to the Olympic opening ceremony? Going to be discussing some controversial suggestions.
And are you planning a holiday at home or abroad this summer? We're asking if the Euro crisis and particularly the weather have made a difference to you. Let us know what you're up to. We'll be talking about that later as well.
Well, Carol, how's the weather for us today?
Good morning. Well, we've got some rain first thing across central and also eastern areas. That will clear, then it's a day of sunshine and showers. But some of the showers could be heavy. I'll have more in about 15 minutes.
Carol, thank you.
Our main story this morning, it looks as though Greece will remain in the euro after the pro-bailout New Democracy Party won a narrow victory in the country's general election.
But Europe's leaders can't afford to breathe a sigh of relief just yet. No party ended up with an outright majority, so the winners must now try to form a coalition. Just to warn you, this next report contains flash photography.
How do you feel tonight, Mr. Samaras? How do you feel?
Feels good.
Relief at a result that came down to the wire. The centre-right New Democracy clinched victory, delighting its supporters. The party vowing to keep Greece in the euro by broadly honouring the conditions of its international bailout.
Today the Greek people express their will to stay anchored with the euro, remain an integral part of the eurozone.
But Alexis Tsipras came a close second with his leftist Syriza party. It campaigned on an anti-bailout platform, furious with the spending cuts demanded by Brussels. And he said his party would not be silenced.
We will continue our struggle on Monday because we know that the future is not for those who are in fear, but those who carry on hoping.
And so the wrangling to form a government now begins. Antonis Samaras will reach out to the socialists and others. Europe's leaders will breathe a sigh of relief at this result. They had urged a pro-bailout victory for fear that the euro could be fatally undermined. Already Berlin has suggested the terms of Greece's bailout could be somewhat softened. This exhausted nation has decided to bite the bullet, but the path ahead will be painful, and the voice of dissent here is growing louder.
And we can talk live to Mark now, joins us from Athens. Morning, Mark. How definitive then is this election result likely to be, as it is, of course, the second in recent weeks?
Certainly more definitive than the inconclusive result 6 weeks ago, but now a pretty serious, intensive period of wrangling will begin for Antonis Samaras, the leader of the New Democracy Party, to try to form a government. Now, numerically speaking, he could secure a parliamentary majority just with the other big pro-bailout party, the Socialists, that came third last night. They would have a majority of 12 in Parliament. But he will want more parties in the coalition than that in order to try to have a stable government with a chance of lasting more than just a matter of a few months. And also, given that there was such a strong showing for the anti-bailout parties, he will want more parties in his coalition, really, to try to reflect the popular mandate. There will be a very, very tough path ahead for Mr. Samaras, though. This country has to find another 11 billion euros of savings in the next few weeks. It needs to start firing 150,000 civil servants. It needs to start a radical programme of privatisation. So a lot more pain to come for Greece. But Mr Samaras and his new government, when it is formed, will also want some kind of compromise from Brussels. They will want Brussels to cut Greece some slack. They will say, well, listen, we Greeks have accepted more pain by voting in a pro-bailout party. Now it is up to the EU to take the foot a little bit off the pedal of austerity, to try to give Greece some slack and to try to lighten the pain that Greeks are going to feel in the weeks and months to come.
Mark, thanks very much. Mark Lowen in Athens.
Well, the financial markets have just opened this morning and Steph has been casting her eye across them. What's the reaction, Steph?
Positive reaction so far this morning. The FTSE 100, that's the leading share index of our top 100 companies here, that's at 1.4%. So that's around 75 points at 55.53 in total. So it looks like investors are seemingly quite happy so far with the fact that it looks like Greece is going to manage to cling on in the euro for some time. But of course, that could all change. I'm talking every day now, aren't I, about the ups and downs and billions being wiped onto the value, then wiped off. So who knows what it might be like by the end of the day.
All right, Steph, thanks very much. For the last few days, the eyes of Europe have been fixed firmly on Greece as voters there face the difficult decision of whether to elect a party which could have led the country out of the euro.
In the end, they didn't, but only by a narrow margin. Keith Doyle's at a Tavern in North London, where some Greek expats are digesting the result. Morning, Keith.
Yes, a very good morning to you. Yes, we are enjoying a Greek breakfast here with some members of the Greek community. There's around 100,000 Greek nationals living in the UK. Some of them join us here over this breakfast. This is Aris Dimopoulos. Aris, is there a general consensus amongst the Greek community here about yesterday's vote?
Yes, they do. They really live the moment, and we really do believe that our fellow citizens in Greece, they do their best, and they give to Europe now the time to proving what they promised to us, to real help us and to real put our country back to rails and don't allow this politician to destroy anymore. I don't believe in this politician, I believe in Europe, and now is this their chance to do so.
Well, you are feeling this very directly, what's happening in Greece, because you're really keeping your family going in Greece, aren't you?
I do have my family, but it's not only my family and my son who has a problem, but it's my fellow citizens who are working for 2 and 3 months in a row and it doesn't get paid.
You were telling me that your son, who's 21, can't find a job. He's eventually found a job, but it's not very well paid, is it?
He's working 8 hours and get 10 euro. And this job is a favor. Just to be a waiter, you believe it, even if he's finished university.
This is George Konstantinidis. George, you're a commentator on Greek affairs here in the UK, but you don't believe that this vote is going to bring any solution, do you?
No, unfortunately not. The markets are happy today, but from my point of view, Greece is a sovereign country and it has lost its sovereignty. This is a war of the media won on behalf of the European Union, who played a big part in contributing to this political elite winning the election again. I believe it's very, very short time. We're going to be back by February 2013 because the important things to Greek people, which is the sovereignty of the country, the economy, and the crime and immigration, are not going to be dealt by this administration.
Maria, you've recently come to the UK. You lost your job in Greece. I mean, do you have any prospects of going back to see to get a job again in Greece?
Yeah, for the moment, there are no prospects. I'm one of the 1,000 young people unemployed in Greece. There is no program implemented for to
get a job.
Yeah. For that to change, but I have faith. I think that they're going to think clever and think about people and not the economy only.
But do you think it's going to be a tough time?
To leave my country.
You didn't want to leave Greece, but you forced you.
To do so.
Do you feel you'll be able to go back?
Well, I cannot think about that now. I'm trying to survive. This is what I think now.
Well, that's very strong opinions here in the UK about what's happening in Greece at the moment. We're going to continue this debate. I'll rescue my coffee that I just knocked over and hand back to you guys in the studio.
Oh, Keith, sorry. We didn't realise you had an unfortunate spirit. Thank you.
It's 16 minutes past 8.